from our perspective. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just.
But yeah.
I don't want to.
No.
I'm happy being independent.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. So, we had first self-protection for women in Guildford.
We did.
What's the feedback?
Really good.
You talk on this with lights off.
Yeah, really, really positive, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you want us to stop talking while you switch
No,
the lights
keep
on?
talking.
Okay. Keep talking. Yeah, I've just been through all the feedback and it was really, really positive, which is very exciting because you never know, you hopefully want people to be enjoying themselves, but they were such an engaged group, and we didn't get through everything that we wanted to get through because there were some great conversations where they were bringing like personal examples for us to workshop, and so they were a great group to work with.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Had some really valuable contributions as well, and you always know you've had a great seminar when you're thinking at the end, what bits can I cut here? Because we've indulged in some areas more than others maybe, but yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, we had to ditch a shed load of material.
Yeah.
So you'll have to invite us back to teach that bit. Yeah, sorry, that wasn't a plan. It just happened. So
funny enough, a recent week I posted a lot around Guildford area, and I had the feedback from people. Oh yeah, are you gonna do it again? Is it gonna be because I can't do this way? And I think we didn't thought about a date very well, or I didn't, because it's a half term.
yes,
Of
So I had
course.
several mums from the school saying, "Oh, we'd really like to come, but I have to be with the kids."
Okay.
So maybe reschedule and do it again, and put more hours into it because 3 hours was obviously not enough.
yeah.
I'm more than happy to come and do that. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. I thought what was really nice was that the group didn't bring, we didn't have expectations to have to work against, because a lot of them were non-martial artists, or the martial artists that came were martial artists that understand the gap between karate and self-defense, for example, and were keen to explore that, and very much interested in their own experience as women and what they need to do. So we were looking at personal risk profiles, for example, and so we were able to get quite deep with that in a way that was very relevant to a lot of people in the group. The other thing which I really liked about it was obviously we had some teenage girls who came with their mum, and then George was here, who came with Chris, and so exploring the advantages and disadvantages of a parent-teenager relationship for personal safety when they want more independence, but that has to be within certain guidelines, or when the teenager also wants protection, using their parents in social situations and that kind of thing. So there were some really great discussions there, which I thought was brilliant, and I think there's a lot to be gained from a family point of view when you get like mums and daughters coming together to this kind of thing.
For sure. So how did you get together to do that?
As in, like, as VPAM, how did we get to how did that happen? How did that happen? I'm not sure. I think really we were both independently teaching this material within our own classes. It's part of my curriculum. You've got your new program coming out.
I remember exactly how it happened.
How did it happen?
Yeah. No, it was
ordained.
It's because we were both very interested in this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So we naturally ended up researching it and talking about it together, because we're fortunate in that because we're not far away, we often meet up for training and that kind of thing. And it was in the woods. We sat in the woods.
Yes.
We went up to the top Naihanchi tree, not the one in our usual dojo. Do you remember?
I do remember, yeah.
It was a dry day, and we sat and we mapped out what might this look like if we were to work together on this. Can't believe
How do you remember these things? How do you know?
Such an important moment.
Yeah.
You just completely remembered it. Yeah. No, but it occurred to us that because we have, we get along well, we have very valuable discussions, and we bring different things to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever mentioned it to you, but Chris was in the army, so he had.
I like to keep it low. I like to keep it low key, Les, if I'm honest.
He's like covert ops. He never talks about it. But he. There's a great deal of experience that he's had, particularly from his teaching time in the army and, being in dangerous situations and so on. So that's important. I obviously, coming from a teaching background myself and having a lot of interest in where karate fails, that's how I got more into self-defense, was understanding, that gap and wanting to explore and learn about it, particularly in the fields of children and women and other vulnerable populations. So we found that we had complementary skills and a strong interest, and that we work well together. We team teach well together.
Enjoy it. I think that's the main thing. Yeah, enjoy it. And I think for me, as a male instructor teaching self-defence, I say this often, but you don't know what you don't know. So for me, if I was going to be delivering, I mentioned previously on the podcast that a large percentage of our student membership is female. I have a daughter who does karate and learns self-defence, but there are nuances and unique aspects to teaching that type of training that you don't know unless you've lived it. So for me, that's been really valuable, Mary sharing those experiences and the experiences of the people she's taught independently. And then every time we come and do something like this, for me, it's training for me. I learn something that I didn't know before, and I have things that are reinforced for me, and I'm okay, that's something I need to, maybe I might need to go and research that because it's not my lived experience. So for me, it's really valuable, and I hope that cascades down to sort of my students and then the VPAM stuff that we do.
Yeah. I think that's right, and I think because we've been doing it for a little while now, we have a good understanding of what's appropriate for each group that we're teaching. And so, often, like today, for example, we change direction and we go, actually, this is more relevant to this group, or this is not, in the same way that you do when you are, when you're used to teaching together and you have a lot of material, way too much material, so then you can often pivot as you need to going along. So that helps us as well, because we teach, we can teach this to very young children, or we can teach it to people in corporate environments, as we have done relatively recently, but we have enough that we can kind of cherry pick material that's appropriate for that group.
You need to have that flexibility for different groups, right? You teach something else to the kid in school versus like a group today which is mostly adults who are in different jobs and different experiences.
And have different problems that they're going to be bringing to that, that they want us to help solve. Because that's really what we're doing, is people that come to this kind of thing are not coming because they have everything sorted. They're coming because they have specific things that they want to address. And so we need to have the experience and knowledge to supply more information so they can make better decisions, basically. As opposed to impose on them what we think is correct, universal template of here is self-defense for you, now you take that.
So in a way you're kind of allowing them to dictate the topic they are, and you kind of reinforce. I haven't been on a course, of course, because I went with kids, but I would imagine that, and I think we talked about it with Chris, that you kind of making people realize that they know more than they think they know. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Yeah, that's one of the things that keeps coming up, is that they know what to do, but once you can codify that, then you can do it better.
Yeah. Once you make it tangible for people, some of the drills that we run, and they're like, actually, I can read body language and I do this incredibly well. Here we run the blink drill, you have a snapshot in time and you read a person's posture, and then you have to verbalise certain aspects of that posture and what it means for a self-protection, or your self-protection. People do this all the time. We do this all the time. It was quite interesting today. We explained the drill, we demonstrated the drill, we talked about it, and there were some sceptical faces in the crowd. I don't think I'm actually going to be able to do this, or you've made that look really easy. I don't think I can do that. And then seeing the smiling faces 4 minutes later, when they both had a couple of and they actually I do this really, really well. So raising awareness and showcasing to people that this is not necessarily something that's going to take a very, very, very long time to master. You have the ability to do this, but you just need to be.
I think in a way you can compare it to the cooking programs, right?
Yeah.
You know how to cook.
Yeah.
They just give you that reinforcement that you follow a recipe, you can be great.
Yeah, definitely. And there's going to be lots of different ways of varying that depending on your own situation. So one of the things I thought worked really well today was the connection between the body language reads on into the fence concepts, because having them understand themselves in that, and then bringing what was going to be appropriate and natural in their own body language worked really nicely. And I think that's the first time we've done it like that, and we would do that again definitely, because they really they embraced that really nicely. And then the other thing that I thought was particularly good was we had some very high quality questions about the material. And in fact, there's a couple of times where we missed something.
That must have been not from my students.
All from your students, yeah.
And your wife. She
Yes.
had some very major concerns. No.
How do I get a husband?
Yes, exactly.
I can prove she tries. We had a polish remover in the bathroom.
We did actually have a murder scenario planned of somebody's husband in today's drill, but it was not you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, there was definitely a crime scene waiting to happen if this plays out in the way that it might. So, yeah, we apologise for that.
You said that you've been doing the first time kind of to open public
Yeah.
as this. You're going to carry on? How was your impression of it?
Yeah,
enjoying it or not?
I thought that worked really well. I mean, one of the things that struck me is when we go into, if we go and do corporate stuff or we go into a school, often we have to we butt up against an expectation from the organisation that's brought us in. And one of the things, we want to do some self-defence skills, and then they get us in to do stuff, but then they're expecting us to turn up with lots of pads and head guards and stuff like that, and do lots of physical skills. And sometimes, I mean, the groups that we work for regularly now, who have us back, know exactly where we fit, and they're very good at encouraging us to do the thing that we do. But there can be sometimes a bit of a barrier. I was thinking going into schools in London sometimes, and them expecting sort of almost like a kickboxing class, and then you're talking about boundary setting and awareness and stuff. And that can be different, but it worked really nicely here. We had the remit of delivering self-protection skills for specifically to a female audience, and then all the material sort of slotted in quite nicely, didn't it?
Yeah.
I've been seeing online. There's quite a few different dojos interested now to get you on the public, because they had quite a few instructors going, "Oh, can I come?"
Yeah.
Oh, no, we designed it for women only, so no, you can't come.
Yeah.
But we can grab it. Oh, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna grab it, and then you can customize it to whatever they need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ideally. But in terms of, we're talking about like the amount of flexibility that's necessary depending on demographic. I do think that sometimes within the world of martial arts, people want to teach women self-defense, and we've had sometimes people come to us and they're like, "Oh yeah, tell us what you teach in a workshop so that we can go and do that." You know, and it's very frustrating because actually we put years of research into what we have, which is an enormous amount of material, which we can then adapt to the people that are in front of us.
I used to spend a lot of money to get qualified, like raising 500 and so on, right? So
Constant, continuous personal development.
Yeah, and it's not just about that, but it's also about, there isn't one template for a women's self-defense workshop. You have to truly start to research and understand women's self-defense. And that's a long job, and we can't just like deliver that to you in,
bite-sized chunk.
In a bite-sized chunk. Here's a 1 hour's workshop, and now you can go and teach women's self-defense. It just doesn't really work like that. So I thought that with the group today, the fact that it was specifically women's self-defense and it was a women-only workshop meant that they felt much more comfortable bringing forward their experiences, which was the most important part of being able to then answer the questions and provide them the information to make safer decisions. So I really appreciate you asking us to do that and providing that space. Seriously, because it was about like sort of recognising that it's trying to serve the people that it was there for, as opposed to necessarily like putting together something, I don't know, a little template which. We'll never teach that workshop exactly the same way. No. That would never happen.
No, because different things come out every time.
To be honest, I wish I could stay, but I hope Anna done. She's really good with notes.
She had loads of
notes. The material is there at home waiting.
Impressive.
For me. Because I was talking with Chris a couple of weeks ago about I've been asked for my mental health charity to do women's to do the self-defense. It wasn't specific for women. Yeah. But we had girls have created a plan within my abilities. But I think it's exactly what you said. They're thinking of self-defense. So we just rebrand karate for mental health for self-defense. You're gonna get some pulse. People gonna be punching. Well, that's completely different things, because I'm gonna be talking about statistics and dangers awareness and stuff like that. So people who come for physical aspect will be disappointed, so you might lose people from that. Oh no, it's gonna be fine, we get more people, and then we go back to the karate after that. Well, okay, if you want to do that, fine, but as well, I would like to ask your opinion, because I'll be working with people with mental health, so teaching them self-defense and I would like to put in there some, shouting and bad language.
Yeah, definitely.
But I can't.
Yeah.
Because people with mental health might be triggered.
Yeah.
So I need to kind of figure out who's gonna be on the session.
Yeah.
What can I do? What I cannot do to not make it worse instead of help them.
Yeah, and I think that's something we think about that with every seminar, with every piece of training that we deliver. There's always a thing at the beginning, a small part at the beginning where we talk about previous trauma and how that we will cope with that within the the training that we provide, and giving people the option to take a step back. It's not a rigid karate style class where everybody's lined up and everybody must do. People are free to partake in the things that they feel comfortable, and if they don't feel comfortable, then that's absolutely fine. And I think having that is crucial. And then afterwards, we do the wash up where people have the opportunity to come and speak to us if there's anything that they have we've spoken about that they want to unpackage or that they need to address before they leave. Then we're around.
Or they want more resources to research for themselves. But I think is one of the things is you're very good with body language, and we have this always in every single group. So people that didn't know us and the body language at the beginning is still quite closed. And then you start to, sometimes we share a little bit and that helps them to open up. Sometimes they start to share with each other, that helps them up. And then by the time it got to like halfway through, you've got much more open faces, open body language, people jumping in and suggesting things.
Conversations flowing.
Conversations flowing like with us and with each other. And then you go, okay, we're fine here. This is going, you're never complacent, but you the group has found its stride within what we've got. And it's obviously going to be the same in your teaching, is that you're watching and seeing how is this material landed? Do I need to change this? How am I modifying this in order to help people be part of what's happening? Because sometimes you see people that are kind of shutting off from that, which is okay because sometimes they need to think through something or it's started something off for them which they can't deal with right then and there. But
I think them having you having an understanding that you are going to have people that don't want to participate in everything, and them feeling like that's okay that I don't join in with this particular thing can be a relief to people. And then I'm okay, I'll give it a go because I know that I can withdraw, I can pull back, and I can be an observer. Nothing's going to be expected of me. And I think just having that relaxed environment just helps everybody feel like they can do more.
It was interesting, on one of the feedback forms somebody said, they were like 10 out of 10, I didn't feel judged.
Oh, nice.
I'm worried, slightly concerned that you felt that you might be judged. But, I think that's one of the things that underpins all the stuff that you do. And you're always at the beginning of any workshop just setting those guidelines for this is how it's going to work, and you are very non-judgmental in how you set things, which is amazing, really.
You bring tea and coffee as well, and biscuits, which I think is the most British thing anybody's ever done. For a seminar.
Learn from Germany.
The Germans cater properly for workshops.
Christian does that all the time. Speaking of learning from stuff, this episode is sponsored by the Violence Prevention and Management UK and Karate for Mental Health. Both organizations helping people to be themselves and in non-judgmental advertisement. That's going to be edited. Environment. Non-judgmental environment. If you want to know more information about the VPAM and Karate for Mental Health, find us online and just do that.
Get in contact with us.
We have a Facebook group. We have a one-page website that I haven't done anything to. So I know it's a shambles, isn't it? So probably don't look for us on a website because really it's just embarrassing. But, find us on Facebook.
You can contact us individually. And
it's also fine.
So what's the plans for future?
More of the same.
Plans is a very strong word. Someone with our business acumen. Having people like yourself bring us in is brilliant because this is something that we feel very strongly about and would like to do more of. So plans would be to try and do more public seminars where possible, and really to get the message across to people that if you want to be teaching self-defense, then you should be teaching educated self-defense. And it's not enough to go in and hit some pads. You must take responsibility. It's an ethical responsibility, I think, to do a good job.
I think we've seen quite a bit of that though. I mean, within our karate world, we've had lots of instructors approach us and say, I've seen some of the stuff that you're doing, or I've heard about some of the stuff that you're doing, sounds really good. This is beyond my scope of knowledge. So we have had a few karate people come up to us. So I mean, hopefully maybe in the future we might do like a specific course for instructors. But it impresses me that people are prepared to sort of say, yeah, this is not an area of expertise for me. This is something that you guys do a lot of. I'd be interested to learn, instead of trying to bluff the case and pretend, you know.
I think this is a positive change. I see that as well, right? You know, I never had a problem with saying that I don't know something. But
No, you always.
Lots of people. I think it's just fear of being judged.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, if I say that I don't know something, I'm losing my face, and it's kind of people gonna be, you know.
Yeah,
I want to deal with.
And I think there's a genuine confusion, and that people that are studying and teaching martial arts really do think that they are studying and teaching self-defense, and that's dangerous.
Yeah. Having local schools inviting people in to teach self-defense, and getting local sport groups in to deliver that. Essentially what is a sports package. I know.
It gets very upset because in our local area, the Taekwondo people get called in to do all of this stuff, and we're just like.
I mean, in fairness to them, again, I've said it before. They don't know what they don't know. So if your training and your sports skills and that works in the environment that it's fit for, and you see your techniques and your skills and your tactics working, it's very difficult sometimes to think about it from a different context. But most places are not doing.
Especially it was done for so many years, right?
It's
kind of
and accepted as synonymous.
And then having instructors at the circling back to the instructors, you're expected to know a lot within your environment, and being able to say, being brave enough to say, actually, I don't know. This is an area of knowledge that I have no expertise in. I find that quite impressive. I think that anybody who's willing to say, this is not my bag, and I need to get defer to someone else who has got more knowledge. I have a massive respect for people that do that.
Yeah, you just don't want to fall into that whole buy bouncers, fall bouncers trap of thinking that if you've known some early Jeff Thompson stuff and that you've read a few books from there, because self-defense has come on a lot since then, and it's much more, I want to say much more inclusive, but I think I mean much more divergent in that, you need to think about tailoring to the different demographics of who is actually vulnerable, and what, somebody in combatives can learn and do is a lot of fantasy violence where they're like, and if I was set on this, I could do this, and then, hey, and it's just like, wow, it's, and with your 72-year-old granny who has a walking stick, who is going to get mugged at the bus stop, how is that working out for her? It's really not.
It's too much Jason Bourne and Statham. Watching and being on the fantasy side of things, like you said. So guys, if you want a mental health talk in your club, hit me up. If you want a
violence prevention,
or self-defense for women or other groups of special interest, hit the VPAM. I always try to mispronounce it. Just poor qualities of my English.
No, I'm just wondering what's wrong with our thing that is very forgettable.
Violence prevention and management.
I was trying to read it, but then I thought, look, staring at Mary's chest. Might look a bit inappropriate.
More predatory behaviour
Thank you very much for an amazing seminar, workshop. I hope to, I don't hope, I will book you for next year, I think, because your schedule is busy as well.
Thank you.
And I'm going to try to promote, get a bigger group, and I hopefully it's going to be growing and growing, and I can get my money for my yacht.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. And
at the moment, I managed to raise money for one LED light. That's my
slight inflatable boat.
A little toy boat for the kids' bar. Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Les.